forgot to count down. But I mean, the syncing is cool. It's
Yeah,
no big
I
issue.
mean it's not like how we
How we used to do.
yeah, when we like syncing like live audio
Yeah, we
camera setup.
we were amateurs back then. We big time now.
Yeah, man, you know, pro stream yard accounts and shit.
Yeah. Well, not pro yet. I haven't made it pro yet. That's why we still got the tag up top. But in due time.
Hey, whatever, it works. Oh yeah, I see the live thing overall. This whole thing being in reverse in my face is still throwing me off. But anyway, politics as usual, episode 20. We done made it to 20.
Yeah.
Episode 20. Don't ask where my brother is.
One day, maybe one day.
He'll be here soon, I promise. I meant to text him earlier just to catch up. Not about this, but some other shit. I forgot. But anyway, politics as usual, episode 20, powered by the kidswearcrowns.com. I am AJ. With me is Ronnie. Yeah, I wasn't sure what we was going to talk about today till that fucking NFL statement came out.
Which is just like why?
Here's my thing, and we just gonna jump right into this, y'all, because I don't feel like
oh yeah, let's get right into it.
What pisses me off is not the owners, because I expect this shit from them. I expect this shit from Goodell and all them to wait for the white constituents to be okay, because now, because someone asked me this question earlier, they were like, is it that they just now believe in black people? And I said, no, it's a lot of white America feels like we deserve it when we get our ass beat by police. Now that they seeing these white people get their ass beat by the police, now it's like, oh shit, this system may not be here to protect me, which we've been telling y'all motherfuckers for I don't know how long. It's here to protect the rich. But now that white people are with it because they seeing other white people get their ass beat on camera all across the country, and it's like, it's not a few bad apples. This is how the system works.
Mm-hmm.
Now they want to put out a statement. But so they said the NFL PR team went behind Goodell's back to put out that statement with the players.
Oh, now that I did not know.
Yeah, someone said that earlier. And I guess some people might call that brave by the players, but I don't think it is.
Nah.
Like every player in that PSA that was in the league and was not like a rookie or second year player when Kaepernick got blackballed is a fucking coward.
Mm-hmm.
All you niggas, cowards, the lot of you. I'll give a pass to Saquon because I don't know, he either was just getting in the league or
Saquon wasn't even in the league by then. Yeah. So yeah, Saquon and Mike Thomas, they weren't even. Right. I don't think they were around then. So yeah,
like younger dudes, you was in your first, second year, cool. The rest of you niggas, cowards. Like y'all are cowards, dog. Like no. You don't get to come back now that you think is safe out. And what pisses me off is no one even mentioned Kaepernick. In neither of these videos has anyone said, yo, Cap, we sorry. Like I at least had the players back if they'd have been like, yeah, man, we was wrong for not signing with Cap. 4 years ago, but we here now.
Here's what's bugging me with basically all the PR stuff from corporations, all the influencers coming out with their statements. It's harder to stand with the group than it is to stand on your own. Like I'm not giving you any points to stand right now when everybody is saying this. Everybody. Where was this when where was this a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Like now everybody is saying it, and now you feel that because now where it's coming from a place where like these PR teams are looking around saying, okay, we don't want to be left behind on this, so we got to say something. Like, nah, like it's not coming, it's disingenuous. It's not coming from a real place.
Yeah, and that's the thing that irritates me more than anything. Sorry, I'm trying to find the live link so I can put it out on my Twitter. That's the thing that pisses me off is like everybody wants to give these people credit, but it's like, nah, black people have been trying to tell you this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rodney King happened almost 30 years ago. We've been trying to tell y'all. Y'all didn't listen then. Now that y'all getting y'all asses beat by these cops, I'm not giving you motherfuckers no credit because we all been out here. telling y'all this shit, and it wasn't good enough until it started happening to y'all. Now y'all got a problem with it. It's like that old Eminem line, middle America. Now it's a tragedy. Now it's so sad to see. But when it was happening to us, it wasn't. And so it's like, while I am happy to see all of these people finally acknowledging, hey, we were wrong, we fucked up, it's still like, nah, I'm not giving y'all motherfuckers no credit for shit y'all should have been doing.
Right. Yeah, you don't get points for being on the right side of stuff. Like it's supposed to be you're supposed to be there anyway. So I'm not giving you I'm not giving you a pat on the back like, oh, thank you for being so brave by saying black people don't deserve to be beaten by cops. So
yeah,
I mean,
killed that we don't. Yeah, like okay, thank you for finally doing what the fuck is right. Hundreds of years after the fucking fact. Like the only people I'm giving credit to are the people who are constantly on the right side of this.
Exactly.
The Nick Wrights, the Skip Baylesses, white people who don't have to be, but who have constantly used their platform to say, hey man, this shit is wrong, what is happening. Those are the people that I'm willing to give credit to. The rest of y'all motherfuckers, y'all Johnny come lately, I ain't getting no fucking credit for y'all.
Yeah. Nick Wright and his pompadour has terrible sports opinions, but when it comes to speaking up on like black issues, he knows his place and he knows like he's saying like, hey, like I see this, so let me speak on it. And hopefully you'll hear it out. So he's been doing that.
He was one of the early ones to be like, yo, y'all are wrong on Kaepernick. Y'all are completely wrong on Kaepernick. He was one. Stephen A. Smith was soft shoeing about that shit.
Oh yeah,
Nick Wright was over there like, no, you guys are wrong. This isn't correct. This isn't how this shit works. Like that and like even the players. The reason why I have beef with the players is because they don't have that excuse. They don't have that willful ignorance because the system was designed to protect them. Y'all saw what was happening to Cap. Y'all see what's happening in these streets, and y'all still would not back him, would not speak out on his behalf, and you wouldn't even donate to his Know Your Rights camp. Like the shit he does with the Know Your Rights camp is great. Y'all could have been publicizing that shit, but no, you motherfuckers wanted to stay on. Y'all wanted to toe the company line. Y'all niggas some fucking cowards outside of the young dudes. And I saw someone earlier mention that it's noteworthy that all the young dudes are taking a stand on this. And I'm like, yeah, maybe because like Cap had to get blackballed first for this shit to happen, but I'm happy that they're at least using their platform to do so.
Now we're at a place. Hold on, let's see what Joe said. Shout out to all the businesses who put up a hollow post of exactly. Just showing up basically, not even doing the work, not even because there were a lot of corporations that put up the black square, and I'm glad people called them out on this, but Twitter said, oh, okay, so how many people are, on your board? How many employees do you have? How many writers do you have on your writer team? So yeah, if like it comes to that point now where if you are going to speak out on this, like whether you feel it's like obligation or it's what you really feel, you got to put action to it now. Yeah. Or people going to call you out for it. So that's where we're at with it.
No more performances of you giving no more acting like you give a fuck. Like,
right.
As far as I'm concerned, until I see some actionable shit, everybody's the picture they put up of Kendall Jenner earlier.
Dude, please tell me there's no way that's real. That's real.
Everything I saw said the shit is real.
Oh no, man!
Like, but you holding up a fucking shadow. Like this is Kendall Jenner with a fake Black Lives Matter sign and handing a cop of Pepsi. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, if you want to, like, I'm not giving nobody credit that's been on the wrong side of this shit. I ain't giving Kanye no motherfucking credit for donating. Like, it's nice that he went ahead and donated the money that he donated, but I ain't giving you fucking credit for this shit.
But I mean, 2 weeks later, he's going to, 2 weeks from now, he's going to be like tap dancing with Trump again. Yeah. So
Ray Lewis don't get no fucking credit when you was kissing Trump's feet. You and that coon Jim Brown. I'm not giving you niggas no fucking credit for this shit for y'all niggas finally showing up for what's right. We've been out here trying to tell y'all that this was the fucking case, and you niggas decide. Like, to his credit, what I will say is that I have heard from plenty of people in sports that they have said that Roger Goodell has quietly wanted Cap back in the league since this shit happened. Like, he has been constantly trying to, like, hey guys, like, it's the owners that are like, nope, we don't want it. And he answers to the owners. But I have heard that Roger Goodell has been like, hey guys, we're on the wrong side of
that is interesting, because that's not what
I've heard a couple people in sports say that, where they're like, yo, we have heard Roger Goodell does not, but he's not gonna step on the owner's toes, because the shit with Robert Kraft, the shit with Jerry Jones, he done pissed the big ones off. So he ain't in a position to throw his weight around and say one of y'all's gonna sign him. Like he used that get out of jail free card with the deflate gate and the Zeke suspension. Like I think he realized that he can't afford to alienate or piss off no more of these dudes because most of them are Trump donors. So I understand that, but like I said, you ain't getting no credit for that shit, Goodell. Fuck out of here. Because you ain't even mentioned Kaepernick in your statement. Like the fact that you could put out all these statements and can't nobody mention Kaepernick, y'all got to get the fuck out of here, man. Like you can't get that man back to 3 years of his career that he lost, 3 years of earnings that he lost. And it seems like you just late to the party. You did the shit in reaction to the fact that your players basically just said, fuck it, we putting out a statement behind your back. Now all y'all want to be on the right side of history. Miss me with that shit, man. Fuck y'all. Cowards.
So if your statement doesn't even address the ills of the world or the problem, then just keep it. And I've seen so many statements that are basically like, kumbaya, we need to come together. And like, no. State what the problem is, and then state how you're going to contribute to fixing it.
I saw it on Bomani Jones' Twitter, but I can't remember who he said it came from. It was either Vinny Goodwill or Joel Silver over at Slate, but they said, and when they mentioned this, because Bomani was like, yo, when I saw this, it stands out in every one, but a lot you could tell which statements are real and which ones aren't, because they're all missing one thing. Something about condemning the police. And when you realize it's not there, that's when you can see who's really with it and who's not. When you see the statements that are like, yeah, we condemn racial inequality and we want to fix this and we should all come together, but you don't see shit about police brutality in there, it's like, yeah, nah, you're not with it because you don't want to piss off the police.
Nah.
Like, nah, you not with it at all. Like, once you realize that those statements aren't there, it's like, okay,
you're not with it.
I see exactly what the fuck is going on. So I've been keeping tabs on them companies. Like, fuck them. But even then, I expect this shit from them. Like, I'm a well-known cynic. I expect this shit from these companies. It's the black people that are in positions of power. Like, I'm so glad I haven't seen any of you niggas on the timeline giving Jay-Z credit for this NFL statement.
Oh no, because it's been a mess so far. It's been trash so far.
I'm so glad about that shit. I was shocked. The motherfuckers wasn't about to be like chestnut checkers involved with the NFL, and suddenly they're saying Black Lives Matter.
Brunch for everybody.
Like, nah, get the fuck out of here. You didn't do this shit. Like, I saw someone tweet earlier, but I retweeted on my timeline. But they said, "So are we past kneeling or are we back to kneeling?"
Yeah, which one is it?
And I want Jay-Z to catch all the hell in the world for saying that stupid shit. When niggas is back to kneeling, I want Jay to catch all the hell when he has to backpedal for saying that stupid shit. That was stupid as fuck, oh. You know better than that shit.
Like, as one man once said, is it what you want or is it one Mike?
One Mike, yeah. Is the black girl lost to shorty on me vibes? Like, which one is it? Like, you can't sit here and say, like, look at all, he has to be sick looking at all this shit happening. And being like, damn, now I gotta.
Yeah, he's like, oh, they're kneeling again. Oh, like, I thought
I cannot wait for niggas to start kneeling again. So I hope somebody do it in front of Drew Brees' bitch ass.
Yeah, kneeling is like his new like death of auto-tune. Like he tried to cancel auto-tune, and then all of a sudden Future came out. Then all of a sudden Future dropped. He was like, no, we still on auto-tune.
Hey, even money phones. Like, we don't call that money over here. Niggas was like, fuck it, we still doing it. Nigga, like, nah, nigga, you can't get past this shit. But I want somebody to kneel in front of Drew Brees' bitch ass. And ain't shit irritated me more this week than his teammates subtweeting him, calling him out, and then when he get that little bullshit apology, you niggas like, yeah, we good again. Like, you
all right. So let's break everything down that's wrong with what Drew Brees said, and I'm gonna start with what bothered me the most. He said, which is dumb as hell, by the way. He said, basically, I don't kneel for the flag out of respect for my country, out of respect for the military. And then this is the kicker here. He said, my family fought in World War II. And that shows you the problem with white America. They think that fighting for this country is exclusively a white thing, when, you know, my granddad fought in World War II, and I didn't find out until I went to my grandma's house and saw a picture on the wall. But of course, he didn't get a GI Bill after that. He had to go to Detroit and go work at the Ford factory. So that's what I'm saying. Like, of course, you're proud of their heritage because you got something from that. You know, that's why we have baby boomers, because people returned from the war. They were given they moved out to the suburbs, they were given money for houses, and they were allowed to boom off their service. But black people weren't afforded that. So of course we're not proud of that.
Like, I have a entire lineage in my family military. My grandfather was a Green Beret. My father was in the military. My brother was in the military. Like, military services all throughout my family. Like, I can reach out and touch people who were in the military, and they say this shit and act like so what? You niggas think that we don't have people in the military with us?
Exactly.
Like the video, and the fucked up part is, like, there was a video that came out earlier at one of the protests where the National Guard was there, and they were saying, "I'm black and I'm proud," and they zoom in on this kid who's in the military, and he's mouthing it. You can tell he's so sad to be opposing these protesters, and people are retweeting it like, this is a kid who we joined the military in hopes of giving us a fighting chance in this world.
Because you have no other. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like, you go in because you have nothing better, and then they send you out to face your own people, and you still don't get respected for that. Like, they were beating people for wearing their uniforms in public after World War II. Black soldiers. They didn't get shit for serving this country. And now today, your reward for serving your country, for trying to better yourself, for not falling into the quote unquote traps of the inner city, which were given to you through redlining and all these other fucked up ass policies, is to go out there and face your own people, where you get court martialed with a dishonorable discharge. You can't get hired no damn way.
Yeah, I can't even begin to put myself in the place of, you know, that young man who says, like, okay, I have to feel my obligation. I sign my name on this paper, but at the same time, I know what I'm doing is wrong. Yeah. Like, I can't say anything to that guy because he's doing what he has to do. But I'm saying that's our reality. That's like the reality of black and brown people. Like, a lot of these people, like, out of high school, they have no other choice. So yeah, they go to the military, but they still end up getting the short end of the stick when they do. So
yeah, it's like it's a lose-lose situation for us. You do what's best for you and end up screwing your people. And but if you don't, then you end up being a victim of one of these overzealous cops, or one of these fucking idiots with a vendetta because you jogging down the street and they quote unquote instantly knew you were a criminal. Like, this is life as a black person in this country. That's why I have zero fucking tolerance for, specifically when black people who are in position to not have to make a fucked up choice, don't make that choice. Like, these cats in the NFL are fucking millionaires, a lot of them. Like, you don't have to sit up there and tap dance because they not finna fucking replace you.
No,
you niggas go and do this shit anyway. It's like, if every black athlete would have banded together after Kaepernick, this shit would have been over with. He'd have had a job in the league. They'd have stopped him. But nah, niggas was like, nah, I ain't finna fuck up my next contract. I ain't finna fuck up my next check. All right, cool. You niggas some fucking cowards. I ain't gonna call you coons because you doing what you gotta do. But you niggas some fucking cowards. The only ones that I'll call coons is Ray Lewis and Jim Brown.
Oh yeah.
Niggas some fucking coons.
Oh yeah.
Straight up and down. You niggas some fucking coons. But the rest of y'all cats are just cowardly. The entire NFL is cowardly. Every one of you dudes who was in the league who ain't say nothing, fucking cowardly. Every one of y'all who came out and made a statement and said, well, I'm going to stand for the flag. Dak Prescott, fucking cowards.
and Dak,
Dak's like he's a black quarterback now.
I was about to say, I'm glad to see nobody gave Dak praise for pledging his $1 million, because it's basically and I by the way, if you can't tell who's tweeting most of the time, it's me. But I posted a tweet. I was like, this is what Dak think his $1 million is going to, and this is what it's actually going to. And the picture where it's actually going to, it was like a Mad Max Fury Road, because I was like, that's you're just giving money to the police force to like because how are you going to give money to an intangible ideal that doesn't yet exist? Like, oh, exactly. I want to help community relations. So here's $1 million to do.
Like,
so
you can't give the police money. Like, there's only one legitimate way to fix this, and you have to abolish police unions. That's it. That is if anyone whose plan does not talk about abolishing police unions and going after their pensions, your heart's in the right place, but your brain is not. Because what happens, and I heard a cop say this. Shout out to Southern Jewel. She was live streaming when the incident in Houston happened. I forget the person's name that was killed there, but when it happened to Houston, and the police chief basically got on there and said, "Yo, man, we collectively, if you want to, you got to be around when the union the negotiations are happening, because we're basically collectively bargaining our punishments at that time." And that's the problem. Like, if I guarantee you, for everyone who thinks that this is a quote unquote a few bad apples, if cops knew that every time one of them harmed a person or property for being fucking negligent, if they were found to be negligent, that it came out of their department's entire pension fund, they turn these motherfuckers in or stop them with the quickness. With the quickness.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew that the $4 million that was about to get paid to George Floyd's family was coming out of your department's pension, they'd have stopped George Floyd from getting killed right there.
Yeah, because here's 2 points with that. Even if you want to say it's a few bad apples, these are 2 common practices in policing. One, let's say AJ, I have $1,000 in cash on me. I'm driving, I get pulled over. The cop is like, "Oh, why do you have $1,000 in cash on you?" I say, "Oh, well, maybe it's bill money." I say it's bill money, but if the cop even suspects that is drug money, which of course they will, the cop can keep that civil forfeiture. And basically, in order for me to get my money back, my money would have to prove itself to not be drug money. Not me prove that my money isn't drug money. The money would have to prove itself not to be drug money. So basically civil forfeiture. And then the second thing that you just mentioned, let's say I get pulled over. I experience police brutality. I sue the cities, sue the police force. My tax dollars is basically coming back to me in that settlement. So, like you said, if they knew that every time there was an incident, it would be tied to their pension and possibly lost, then yeah, there would be another level of accountability there.
Yeah, they would turn these quote unquote bad apples in quickly. There would be no civil settlements anymore. This shit would stop tomorrow. If you told the entire NYPD if some dickhead in a precinct all the way across the city does some shit, it fucks with your pension, that shit's gonna stop. Mm-hmm. You gonna be over at their precinct like, "Hey man, who did this shit?
Hey man, hey, chill.
We turning that money. I'm 3 weeks from retiring. You motherfuckers ain't touching my pension." I guarantee this shit would stop. But until we're talking about that, this shit will not change. And I think the main thing that I think people are finally realizing is because you see this shit with the Karens and the people who call the police every time a black person is mildly inconveniencing them. White people grow up thinking that the police is their personal protection agents.
Yeah.
For the most part, it is. Until you start fucking with the real people who the system is designed to protect money. All this rioting and looting and shit that a lot of white people are doing, by the way, that's fucking with the money. And the money is who the police are here to protect. They ain't here to protect your ass. They're only here to protect you when it's you versus us. But when it's all of us against the money, they showing y'all whose side they on. And right. Like people were talking about the armed people complaining about the armed people complaining about the quarantine and all that shit. And the reason why they didn't bucket them is not because that they were white. It's because those people follow the same ideals as the money. And police officers are by and large cowards. So they ain't trying to go to war with no people who actually gonna shoot back. They not finna do that. If this was, say, the 60s and you had like a legitimate armed Black Panther party and they were showing up at these protests, this shit would go a lot different.
I mean, we saw it with history. We saw Republicans screaming to say, "Okay, no guns." Right. stricter gun laws.
Black people are starting to buy more and more guns, and now suddenly Walmart.
And then Walmart is not carrying guns anymore.
Yeah, we can't do that no more. Y'all can't come up in here and buy guns. And people have been saying that tongue in cheek for years, but you finally see this shit happening. Black people are starting to get guns. We're starting to get more armed, and suddenly these stores are like, "Now wait a fucking minute." And again, that tells you everything you need to know. The system is here to protect the money, not white people. It's here to protect the money. White people just happen to have closer access to that money than we do. But now that you
What'd you do, AJ?
Hold on, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, fuck, hold on.
Orlando has 32%. Wow. Yeah, man. And just okay, so this is actually something that I wanted to mention on the mini series with Ryan, but basically he didn't realize we were on two different time zones, so I came in late, so I didn't get to mention this. Police budgets are absurd, and for a number of reasons. Basically, because of the drug war, then because of counterterrorism, then because of active shooters. After, if I'm not mistaken, after Columbine, now all police training, they get SWAT training as well. And so with those budgets, they also get basically military style budgets where you get the armored cars, where you get the combat gear, where you get, this SWAT equipment. So yeah, you do have large police force because they have to be ready to mobilize in the case of an active shooter, which is just the craziest thing to say out loud. Like, okay, we need more cops than we actually need because we need people to quickly mobilize just in case somebody goes and shoot up a school. But that's America for you. So yeah, that's why we have these large police budgets, and you have to ask yourself, like, okay, schools are terrible right now. Infrastructure is poor, but yet, like for instance,
because our police forces, and I completely fucked up the audio on this shit, so it's gonna be a gap. So sorry, I smacked my little MacBooks only have these fucking USB-C inputs, so I got this little docking thing right here. I smacked it, and this shit temporarily fucked up all my audio channels because it's the one my input is plugged into. So my bad, y'all. But police are no longer policing; they're basically an occupational force. They're an occupational military force. That's basically what they are. We've seen this shit now. Like that is what our police have come to. They have spent so many years after 9/11 and Columbine, as you mentioned, building up all these fucking military surplus. Like, people all the time talk about like Howard Hoover. These motherfuckers got tanks. What the fuck is finna happen in Hoover, Alabama that you need tanks for?
Bro, my little hometown in Demopolis, Alabama, where my graduating class had 100 people, the police force is now up to, I want to say, and this is going to sound a lot, but when you consider the town size it is, I want to say the police force is now up to like 150 people. And then we also have like 2 armored cars in little as Demopolis, Alabama.
Yeah.
Why?
For what reason? And the reason is because, like, yeah, it's for active shooting, but I truly believe all of this shit has been done for the long-standing Republican plan to eventually lead us down the path of a fucking dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know as the country becomes more diverse, we are getting less and less conservative. The population is socially liberal right now, more than it has ever been at any point in our country's history, if I'm not mistaken. And so they know that eventually they can't keep gerrymandering, but so fucking, this is why they are so rushing to put all these fucking unqualified judges on, because they know when cases start getting up here 5-10 years from now, these federal judges
we got to squash them,
are going to start striking these shits down. SCOTUS will have a big ass majority, but in case that shit don't fucking work, if we start rising up, as you have seen, these cops are not hesitating to push down 75-year-old men, 75-year-old white men, and then saying, oh, they tripped on camera.
And here's another observation. So if you know, I'm the king of dumb analogies. If I give you, let's say you are trapped in a room with 100 bees, and I give you a fly swatter, and I give you a button where you could press and you could kill all the bees instantly. But I say, like, okay, I'm going to give you this button. Don't press it. Use the fly swatter. Basically, that's my analogy for when cops get that extreme SWAT training and the basic police training. You're gonna automatically default to the most extreme training you've gone through,
exactly,
and you spent the most time on.
Because
so that's why.
Because a lot of police officers are cowards.
Right. So that's why. And this is an observation I've been seeing. I said this to someone the other day. That's why these police only look comfortable in SWAT situations. Like they look like they know exactly what they're doing when they have their riot gear on. But on a routine traffic stop, that's why you look jittery, because you're like, what am I doing?
And like that, like that's the other part of that shit is like, why are cops not receiving stress testing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we not, before we send a cop into a predominantly black area, why are we not hooking up heart monitors and all sorts of shit to them to see what happens to you when you encounter a black person?
Mm-hmm.
Are you fit to do this job?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, like I said, I'm personally just for abolishing all of this shit. Like, Lupe had a gym the other day. Lupe been on some crazy shit lately, but Lupe had a gym the other day in his live where he said, you can look at policing as breaking the law. No, said that wrong. You can look at crime as breaking the law, or you can look at crime as a lack of resources. How you look at it is going to determine how you do policing. And once you stop looking at crime as breaking a law and a lack of resources, then you will change the way that you police. And
dude, sorry to cut you off, but I was in a class once in college, and I don't know what class it was, but basically we were debating welfare and social services. I said welfare is a crime deterrent. That's why we have it. And everyone, like this white guy's head exploded. It was like, what? It's like, no, we don't do crime because you want to do. I was like, no, it's a crime deterrent, because when you have generation after generation after generation of people with little resources, you need social welfare in order to keep people afloat and to give them a chance. Like, if you put the best person in a situation where they have a lack of resources, they're going to do whatever they have to get what they can. So I was like, it's totally a crime deterrent. And that's why you have crime in poor areas. I mean, there's a direct correlation there.
Yeah. And Lupe brought up another point. He was like, it's either people needing something or needing something to do. That is why the majority of crimes happen in this country. Like, there aren't just people sitting, or like, yeah, there are just some evil, fucked up people in the world. But when you start talking about like crimes against like property, like a lot of them are either this person is bored and has nothing better to do, or they need to feed their family, or they tired of being poor and they just mad. Either way, a lot of this shit is strictly a lack of resources. So if you took when people are asking like, well, what are we going to do about violent people if we abolish the police? Well, if you took the funding from the police and started putting it into more arts, more social welfare, more things of that nature, gave people stuff to do, productive things to do, a lot of these crimes get eliminated. Are you going to have your whack jobs here and there? Sure. But look at democratic socialist countries. Look at countries who actually, like, it's the same thing with drug prohibition. I think it was Portugal decriminalized every single drug, and addiction went down by 50% after like the first 1 or 2 years. Because instead of punishing people for doing the drugs, they said, hey, let's take the money we were using to incarcerate you and turn around and use that to get you some help. And addiction dropped. Every country in the world and no prohibition in the history of America's work, by the way, guys. But every country in the world has shown that when they put the resources into actually giving a damn about their citizens, that crime and shit falls. Like,
yeah, because I think it's Denmark that has the prisons that basically look like college dorms, and they don't have a problem with recidivism, like because that's another thing in the country, right?
Whereas
you put resources into that,
our prison system is basically slave labor.
Yes,
like that's it. Our prison system is basically slave labor. Like they actually. There was actually like a police chief or somebody, a prison warden, somebody that said like, yo, if we start letting these people out, like, who's gonna do all this unpaid labor for us? And we're like, yo, you tell it on yourself.
You tell it
on yourself. The fucking game right here. But we don't like. It's so wild that all this shit is coming out now because we keep getting hit with so much shit that we can't fucking pay attention to the bombshell stories. Like I told someone the other day, the fact that there's a Space Force, the first new branch of government in 73 years. And that's like
number 77 on the list of things for 2020.
63 years, I'm sorry. But that's like, I don't even know if that's in the top 15 of shit Trump has done since he's been in office. Like, all the shit that like you said the other day, like the WHO said that they had what some Ebola cases in the Congo.
Yeah, they're
that
like
even news because of all
6
the
confirmed cases.
Like, dog, West Nile is out here making a fucking comeback in Tennessee. Like, dog, like I've said this shit enough time, but Jay Electronica dropping his album should have let us know what the fuck
should have let us know, man.
Gonna be on. We done got a Jay Electronica album, global pandemic, economy's on the verge of collapse. Joe Walsh saying Black Lives Matter. Fucking West Nile is back. Fucking murder hornets. And what was the shit that came out earlier? The Ghost City.
Oh yeah, there's like a ghost city, and they're like, oh, you can visit it if you want. Nah, like, I'm cool. I'm cool.
The Pentagon acknowledged UFOs like a month and a half ago, and nobody cares anymore because we just keep getting bombarded with wild shit that's happening. Like it's fucking crazy out here. Like it's just like, yo, fuck it, more wild shit happening. Like aliens could show up tomorrow, and we wouldn't even remember it by the end of the year.
And put
the world has been.
And put this on your list as well. Like, this is the year that cicadas are returning from underground. So by the end of the summer, we're gonna have cicadas everywhere.
Like, no, like just think about this shit. Just imagine if you was in a coma for 17 years, because that's basically what cicadas and locusts. They've been out of here since 2003. Think about all the wild shit that has happened since 2003. Think in 2003, we was out here wearing pants that didn't fit. Like my brother we was on PlayStation talking the other day, and he said he found a pair of Jabos that was like a 44 waist. Like and my brother's like 5'9" or 5'10", so he's not much bigger than I am. Like, so just imagine all the big niggas that was upset at like our fashion back then. But like just imagine you go in. Rap is still largely focused on like bars or whatever. Clothes don't fit. Bush is in the middle of tearing down democracy, like all, and then you wake up. The basketball shorts are tighter than they've ever been.
No.
You got a black president.
Just imagine
followed by a racist president.
I was about to say, just imagine how jarring it would be to wake up after 7 years, turn on your TV, and see Donald Trump as president.
Yeah, and then find out that he was preceded by Barack Obama. Like it'd be like what? Like just imagine that. Now imagine like all the shit happening in 2020 and being like, what? Like, wait, UFOs happen? There's a space force now? Wait, what? Like, this is all shit that would normally be like everything happening in the past 3-4 years is normally shit that would like be groundbreaking historical events, and this shit ain't even creating blips on the radar no fucking more. Like E.T. could literally just pop up tomorrow and be like, "What's good?" And niggas would be like, "Welcome." Like we wouldn't even be shocked by the shit. Just be like, "All right, oh y'all niggas finally showed yourselves. All right, cool." like I don't think anything would shock niggas right now, but like God Himself coming back.
Yeah,
and God being a woman. Like that might be the only thing that like registers on the radar is if God popped down here and was a black woman. It was like. Y'all just said fuck the shit. Y'all just said fuck this nice planet I gave y'all. Like that might be the only thing that we remember about, because so much crazy shit is happening on a regular. Like dog, we ain't even talking about murder hornets no more.
No, murder hornets came and went,
and they, I'm sure they're happy to hear that too, because
they plotted now. They like
Motown fun. Like nigga, I had a nightmare about murder hornets the other day. Like nigga, I had a dream someone was in my room and I felt like Smokey in the chicken coop, nigga. Like just imagine, like, and that shit ain't even a fucking story. Like the Pentagon acknowledged UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
Tinfoil hat wearing, I got abducted by alien motherfuckers. We're probably jumping through hoops, and that shit ain't even registering right now.
I will say this, and I say this like completely serious. And I totally believe this. I believe like Trump created the Space Force because a lot of those Area 51 files are now declassified. And he was like, because I feel like he got in office like pull me the JFK files, pull me the UFO files. I just want to read them. A lot of stuff is declassified now, so it's like, oh shit, we need the Space Force.
Yeah. Speaking of, if you have not watched the Space Force show on Netflix, that shit actually is pretty good.
Yeah, I still need to watch that. Yeah,
because they allude to Donald Trump being the president without actually mentioning him being president. Like they talk about Twitter rants and all this other shit. His wife wanting to send like goofy uniforms to the Space Force and all this shit. But they do a bunch of shit that like you would be like, oh yeah, this is exactly like they went up there for research, but they had a closet that said spare oxygen, but it was actually guns in the shit. Like you want a fucking moon? What you need guns for? That's 100% the shit I expect from this regime in the military to be like, all right, well, yo, we're gonna go up there for scientific exploration, but we 1000% are sending guns up there too for no fucking reason. Like the Space Force is just going to be for us to militarize space. That's it.
By the way, do not shoot a gun in a vacuum. Just put that out there. If you are ever in a vacuum, don't shoot a gun.
Yeah, like just so much. Like I said, first new branch of military in 63 years, and we ain't even talk about that shit. Or maybe what's this? Okay, yeah, 73.
Yeah.
73 years. And we don't even talk about that. Like the last new branch of the military was the Air Force. Just to give you like in 1947, because it was the Army Air Force before that, and then it split off into its own branch. And so this is the first one in 73, and we don't even talk about it. like that is how insane this presidency has been, that something could happen, that something could have not happened in 3/4 of a century, and it's not even a blip on the fucking radar. Because
I still have a time accepting that it's a real thing and it actually exists.
Yeah, somebody one of my homeboys was stationed with in the Air Force, like is like one of the, she's like I think a liaison for like one of the chief of the Space Force, like some shit like that. Like they're actively absorbing, because so like just to go over some brief militaries for people who don't know, like the Navy has 3 branches basically: the Navy, the Marines, and the Coast Guard. The Army is the Army, and then the Air Force has the Air Force and the Space Force. So they are actively absorbing them from every branch, but they're transitioning people from the Air Force into the Space Force as we speak. But it's like, yo, most of the people in the Space Force ain't ever gonna be in space.
No.
Like even if you not like actively, even if you ain't like, because most people in the Air Force don't fly. Like the Navy has like more fighter pilots than the Air Force does, but we all go into the air at some point. Like you go fly and at least be in. Motherfuckers in the Space Force may never go to space. Like think about how absurd that is. Like, did you go spend the majority of your time? Like, at least motherfuckers in the Coast Guard be on ships. Motherfuckers in the Navy be on bases. Yeah. Niggas in the Space Force may never see space. Like, we ain't been to the moon in like 60 years.
No.
45 years. I'm sorry.
Did we really go? I'm just fine.
I mean, I'm a believer that we went, but like so somebody, like, we were talking about this shit in one of my history classes, because one of my old history teachers at high school was a big conspiracy theorist. And he was like, think about this. This is 2004, 2005. He was like, there's more current technology in your car than was in the space shuttles that went to the moon. And I was like, damn. Mm-hmm. It's like, maybe we didn't go.
Yeah, the street say Stanley Kubrick shot the video.
Yeah, like maybe we, like, because I was in a 94 Grand Am at the time with no power steering, and that shit could barely get me around the corner. So to think that something with less technology could get motherfuckers all the way to the moon, I was sitting there thinking like, shit, nigga, maybe we didn't go. Like, nigga, I couldn't even play my CD player without my dash lights going out because of the way the car was wired. These niggas had something with less technology that took them to the fucking moon. Like,
I will say this, whether you believe it or not, like, everybody can agree that the space race was like the basically the biggest pissing contest in world history. It's like, like, look at my spaceship. You know?
Man, dog, the space race might be the whitest shit of all time. Think about this shit. Yeah. Like, countries that are like, yo, we gonna get to the moon first. Like, just the white privilege of that shit is staggering. For you to be ignoring civil rights,
and here's another thing. I'm glad you said white privilege, because a lot of our what am I trying to say? A lot of our current Bill Gates, they directly benefit from the money that was pumped into science and math to get people ready to become NASA engineers, which is another benefit of white privilege that Black people didn't have access to.
Yeah, even though black woman and black women were
Even though a
responsible
black woman, yeah.
were responsible for the math equations that got us up there. But that is just some like the space race is just the ultimate white privilege.
It's the whitest shit ever, for
It's the
real.
whitest shit ever to be like, yo, we just gonna get to the moon first between us and Russia. Like that's just some white. That is America in a fucking nutshell. We gonna ignore all these grave racial injustices going on, where the black women who are doing the math equations to get our asses up to the moon can't even use a decent fucking bathroom. But we gonna get to that fucking moon first. We gonna invest billions upon billions of dollars into this shit. And Trump, to get the heat off him, was like, "Fuck it, Space Force, United States of Mars." Like he basically did the Chappelle Show skit. MARS, Mars,
Mars, nigga.
Like that's basically what the fuck happened. Like, what if we survive this shit? I do not think future generations are gonna think we were exaggerating about all the shit that happened after Barack Obama left office. Because it's been a wild 3 years, man.
Because future generations are gonna ask us, like, was 2020 really that wild? We'll be like, yes. Yes. It was crazy.
we are 5 months and 5 days into the year, and this is the wildest year I've been alive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of the 32 years I've been living, this is the wildest shit I have ever seen ever. Like there is quite literally only one thing missing, and I'm not about to say that shit on a non-encrypted channel.
Yeah, don't even put that in.
Yeah. Like there's literally only one thing missing from this year, and I think the majority of us would be happy. But there's literally only one thing missing from this year to make you just want to just be like,
yeah, I got nothing for it. Yeah, this year is just too much.
Yeah, like I said, man, go cities. Like motherfuckers was real when the Murder Hornets came out. Was like, all right, yo, 2020, like stop whiting in the Go City, and then seeing Weston Island Ebola. I'm just like, yo, Earth is really tired of our shit.
And we're totally forgetting about the main character of 2020, which is the global pandemic. Yeah. You know,
like and D, not KWCD, Guy D, Prince Hakeem on Twitter. He said the other day, he was like, man, it's amazing that they wouldn't institute a curfew because of the pandemic, but now they're instituting a curfew. And I said, yeah, because us being in the house during the curfew was fucking up the money. But now us being outside because we're pissed off is fucking up the money. So they gonna send us wherever we not fucking up the money. If we fucking up the money too much inside, no, go back outside. We start going outside, we fucking up the money. No,
go back inside.
This shit is and always has been. I hope if people take nothing else from this year, it is that it has always been about the money.
Words to Lester Freeman: follow the money.
Follow the money. This year's been show me the money. Like that is all this shit has been about, man. Like I keep saying, but Monty Jones had a great point when they was talking about the pandemic. In this country, we have incentivized the money to make money. So when you start telling the money that they can't make money, they start going, well, what the fuck do you mean I can't make money? All I know is making money. My money makes money. So what do we got to do to get back out here making this money? And they let us back out.
Yeah.
We started fucking up the money again. So now they're like, no. No. Y'all go back in the motherfucking house. People are risking pandemics. People are risking a fucking pandemic to protest right now. And that shit is insane.
And the wild thing with that, because if you strip away this need to make money, if these governments still had their stay-at-home orders and never pulled them back, people wouldn't have been so prone to jump out into the streets. I mean, of course, there still would have been protests, but people are really just out here, just totally forgetting that the pandemic is going on.
Yeah, like I said the other day, like, because you know me, I'm cynical. Like I've stated to Lee and B. Will, among other people, numerous times that I never believed that all of America would ever come together under one cause. But I also believe that there would never be a global pandemic that would keep us in the house
right
months at a time. And motherfuckers are upset. And they're like, all right, yeah, nah. Like they are just looking for whatever excuse they can to fuck some shit up. And I don't blame them. Like all of this is the perfect storm of events. Economic unrest. The Republicans basically saying, fuck y'all, we not giving y'all nothing but this $1,200. People losing their jobs. the gross murder of a black man on camera, and the sight of armed white people running up in state capitals and city capitals across the country, running into cops and nothing happening to them, and motherfuckers being like, all right, yo, we tired of this shit. Like, I legit never thought this shit would happen. Ever.
Neither did I.
Like in that point, when I say shit like I'm 99.9% sure, this is that 0.1% that I'm like, okay, well, maybe if that happened. And
if you told me there would be a Black Lives Matter protest in Mountain Brook, I would like, get the fuck out of here.
Mountain Brook.
97% white Mountain Brook.
Dog, if you, I worked at a bank in Mountain Brook for a couple months. I had to fill in over there, and one of the black people that used to come over there, he was like, how many times you been pulled over since you got here? I was like, well, thankfully none. He was like, well, just to let you know, them cops know your car. They know what black people are supposed to be over here and which ones are not.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are very, very aware of who's in and out of their city. Like,
yeah, that's one community you're not going to break into if you're outside.
And it's not just black people. They won't even let you buy a house over there if you don't know the right people. Like, we had 2 branches over there for the bank that I worked for, and both branches failed because they did not have the right Mountain Brook people working at them. So they went out, hired someone who grew up in Mountain Brook, and paid her like 1.5 times the salary that they would normally pay a branch manager, so that they could make a branch successful over there, because all that money was there, but they couldn't get to it because those Mountain Brook people would not talk to you unless you knew someone that was there, unless you grew up there. They do deals on the golf course. They had their own bank that was there specifically so they could go out and do deals on the golf course. If you weren't supposed to be there, they knew you weren't supposed to be there. It's not easy to become one of them. You can't buy a house over there unless they want you to. You can't do no business over there unless they want you to. So you either got to have something that they want, or you got to know somebody so that realtor will show you the house, or that person is willing to sell you the house, or that bank is willing to go through the sale of the house. But you can't just move over there. So me saying that shit, I was like, okay, yeah, something's up.
Yeah.
Like, Mountain Brook don't fuck with niggas at all, unless they need them for their basketball team.
Yeah, unless they need somebody for the basketball team.
You see they built them apartments on the outskirts of Mountain Brook, so they could bring people like that in. They ain't selling people's family no houses, but they got them a nice little apartment on the outskirts, close to Homewood in downtown Birmingham. That's how they operate. Them saying Black Lives Matter, Joe Walsh saying Black Lives Matter. Yeah,
man, never thought I'd see the day.
A former Trump surrogate? What? I saw
that. He was the worst of the worst.
The worst. Tom Arnold. I saw Tom Arnold under a tweet like, "Yeah, we got on his ass enough that he finally." I'm like, yo, what the fuck was Tom Arnold saying to this nigga?
So Tom Arnold was on his ass, like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tom Arnold's like, yeah, we're friends now, we're good, everything. I'm like, yo, what you beat this nigga ass and make him see the error of his ways? Like, what the fuck happened? Like all of this shit makes zero sense. Like, 2020's at a point now where I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, fuck it. Like, the CEO of my company, you know what company I work for, came out with a statement that explicitly stated we are against police brutality and Black Lives Matter. Like, a company-wide email. I was like, I ain't never seen a CEO in this industry say no shit like this. I was like, yep, Black Lives Matter. We must address police brutality and racial inequality. I was like,
and to go back to what you said, that's one of the statements that is for real.
I was like, yo, who is, like, because he just got hired. Like, he ain't been here long. I was like, yo, who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah.
Like, they just sent an email out saying that we can work from home for another month. Like, I was like, yo, who the fuck is who died and replaced the CEO of my company with a fucking alien? The previous CEOs didn't give a fuck about us.
Oh no.
The last 2 CEOs, we'd have been in that motherfucker. They wouldn't even been giving us masks. I'm like, hey, if he dies, he dies. It'd have been some Ivan Drago shit. Like, dead ass. I
don't know what to tell you.
Hey, the game is the game.
Yeah.
Quote Avon Barksdale. The game is the game. Like, they just had us in that motherfucker dead. These niggas like, no. Y'all good. Y'all need to come back anytime soon. Black Lives Matter. Like, we was actually on a call the other day, and one of my coworkers who's been in banking longer than me and you have been alive got on. He was like, yo, I've never seen this in my life.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm like, talk about what the CEO said. He was like, I'm genuinely shocked. Like I've never seen this in my life. Like banking CEOs typically do not give a flying shit about us
because they care about the money.
The money,
the money.
Fighting shit all back together. The fucking money. God damn it! Now my fucking headphones that came out.
You shooting bad over there.
Yo, because I keep slamming my fucking hands down because I'm so fucking irritated. But yeah, we got anything else on the docket?
I think that's it, man. Other than like I'm really afraid to see what happens in like October, November, December 2020 because
dog, I don't want to know what's gonna happen come August.
Yeah,
like I don't fucking know, man. All I'm gonna say is this, man. Tomorrow ain't promised. Shoot your shot today. You thought I was gonna say Freddie Mac today, didn't you? But that too.
I thought you were about to take it there. Yeah.
Tomorrow ain't promised. Shoot your shot today. Do all that shit that you've wanted to do it. Because we might not be in this motherfucker. Like they talk about it's a meteor finna skim by Earth it's like 32 million miles away, but it's still close enough. Hey, I'm with it. Like bring that shit.
Come on with it.
They was like, yeah, it would be the first asteroid strike of the Earth in 66 million years. I was like, so you're saying we're due? It's like California. The big one should come at some point. Yeah. You're saying there's a chance this shit could happen. Because I'm with it at this point.
I'm with it. Let's go.
Let's
go. Yes.
Yeah, man. The NFL's cowards. Shouts to Colin Kaepernick. Shouts to Ray Nagin. If you've been following the blog long enough, you know what that's your reference.
That kills me every time, man. Shout out to Ray
Nagin. Time. And
shout out to Ray
Nagin. Joe was on that episode.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Joe was on that episode.
So he was.
He knows what that's about. Shouts to Ray Nagin. Shouts to Colin Kaepernick. Wasn't an Atlanta episode called Shouts to Colin Kaepernick?
I think there is.
Yeah, it was they had Colin Kaepernick's name. Anyway, shouts to Colin Kaepernick. Shouts to Eric Reed. Make sure you log on to thekidswearcrowns.com. Hit subscribe on that YouTube page. Follow us on Twitter at the KWC blog and on Instagram. Ronnie is not on Twitter, but he do be tweeting from the blog Twitter account. It's very easy to tell when he's tweeting, but I won't tell you guys the secret to that. Only him and D tweet from there.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan sometimes. Follow Ryan at Ryan KWC. Spell Ryan like Rhino. Just replace the O with an E. Ryan KWC. Follow his new page because his old Twitter page was unjustly revoked for some reason. We still don't know
free Eagle Eye. I don't know what's going on with that.
Free open mic Eagle, man.
Yeah.
I'll be back on the 4 Hour Show this week. I'm actually supposed to be recording 2 episodes this week. One with Lee and one with Lil Mike.
Oh.
Yeah, that's gonna be
all right.
That's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
That's gonna be interesting. Yeah,
I don't know how I'm gonna spend that one, but recording 2 episodes this week. I probably won't drop both this week, but we'll be doing that. Shouts to my brother. He'll be on one of these days. I got to give him a little bit of grief when we get off here, but he'll be on one of these days, I'm sure. And you got anything else, Ron?
Nah, man, that's it.
All right, man. Shouts to Ray Nagin.
Shout out to Ray Nagin. Peace.